Okay, wow. So we have 50 some more people here now. And I'm truly excited about this opportunity to engage in cultural exchange. Um, so let me, I guess, start. All right, let me screen share. 1 second. Let's see. Okay. And Jan, if you don't mind just admitting people in, because I might not see everybody, so you should be able to. Just yeah, admit all the um everyone. Okay. All right, great. So again, welcome everyone. I haven't learned how to say welcome in Ukrainian. Jan, how do you say that in Ukrainian?
It is ласкаво просимо.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna learn that before we leave today. In Korean, you say 환영합니다. Um, anyway, it's really awesome to meet everyone here today. I know, I think yesterday, especially, I know was like a special, day. Not in a bad way, but right, it's like a 1 year anniversary of the war, and um, like in news, we see lots of things, lots of bad things that's happening in Ukraine. Um, I'm currently based in US, and I have also a lot of students joining from Korea. So we see these news, but these are stories told by typically adults. And so what we wanted to do today, or what we wanted to do, is to create an opportunity where we could talk to one another, hear children voices. And so that is the reason why we are doing this today, and I'm really really happy and excited. I mean, it is 5 a.m. where I am. I'm currently based in US Eastern Coast. um, and I guess I'll do a brief introduction. My name is Sam On. I am originally from Korea, but I'm currently living in United States. I also teach at school. I love to, I'm an educator, so I love to create these educational opportunities where, there's cultural exchange. You get to learn about the world, and you get to do things about the world, because I feel like young people could change the world, and that is the purpose of today. Just to do a brief introduction. Maybe you do know this already, but just in case, you see where Ukraine is, like right in the middle, and then you can see where Korea is. Korea is divided into two countries, and the theme, like, it was divided because of a war. I think was it 63 years ago now. Korea also had a war, and it divided up the country. And um, and at that time, it was the communists, right? The Soviet Union, and also I think at the later stages, like China was involved, and then for Korea, South Korea, or Republic of Korea, um, the main allies being the U.S. and the United Nations. And then the war never really ended. Ended in armistice. So there was never peace agreement. And so that's where we are. 60 years later, and the I guess the line is called 38th parallel that divides North Korea and South Korea. Um, it's one of the most heavily armed and fortified like region in the world. So the war has impacted both countries now. Just do basic comparison in terms of the size. Ukraine is 6 times larger than Korea in terms of the country size. In terms of about a number of people, Korea has more people than Ukraine. So you can imagine it's a lot more crowded, right, in Korea. I mean, especially in like its capital, in Seoul. It's definitely more concentration there. In terms of like per capita GDP, Korea is one of the largest economies in the world. And some of these major sectors being manufacturing, services, and technology. So I don't know if you heard of like Samsung, phones, for example, or Hyundai cars. They or a lot of the phones that you have or the devices that you're using probably has something designed or made in Korea. It could be semiconductor to chips to your device. So that's like those are the main things in Korea. And based on my research, I think agriculture, like industry, service, these are the three major sectors, and service, taking up about 2/3 of the GDP in the country. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Jan, when you're doing when you're presenting. But I just wanted to give you like a brief overview of like the differences between two countries. I think that there's a lot of numbers here, but in terms of the age group, like 0 to 14, it's about 15% of the population in both countries. So that's about similar. In South Korea has one of the longest life expectancies in the world. So yeah, Korean people live quite long. So 83.2 years is the average, and then whereas like Ukraine is at 73 years or so. Korea is very homogeneous. If you go walk into Korea, it'll be 99%, probably 99.9% Korean, ethnic Koreans. Whereas I think Ukraine, you have a little bit more, just a little bit, slightly more diversity. And then in terms of religion, that yeah, you see what it is. And then literacy, I think Ukraine has a higher literacy rate. And then just these are just the things that I found on internet. So that's just a basic brief overview of the differences between two countries. And I'm sure a lot of you know these things already. All right, let's see. I think we almost have almost everybody here today now. We have like 57 participants, which is awesome. Again, as a reminder, if you could turn on your camera, because we want to see your faces. So that's what we want to do. That would be great. And if you could change your name to be first name, last name, written in English, that would be great. So please do change your screen name if you haven't done so already. Yeah, do you want to introduce Ukraine to everybody?
Yep. So first of all, today we have a lot of kids. I think it is so cool because as you know, it is war now in Ukraine, and a lot of families, a lot of kids are now not in Ukraine, not in Kyiv, and especially during these days when it is anniversary of the war, pretty a lot of like families are scared. So we tried our best to call as much people as it is possible, as many people as it is possible, and everyone is so excited in your culture. So I think that it will be so interesting. And I think that I'll now share my screen. 1 second, I'll open the presentation. Yep. So, yep, I'll start from yeah, you can see everything in my presentation. However, yes, so I will talk to my participants in Ukrainian, okay? So we have a good organization. So, так, коротше, ті, що українці, я зараз до вас звертаюсь, давайте спробуємо зробити цю штуку на рахунок 3. We now will try to like say something in Korean. We really tried to like to say it, but we're not sure if it will be like correct. However, we will try. Так. Окей. Так, окей, українці, давайте так. 1, 2, 3. Мене Yeah, it is like we're really glad to see you today, and I think I will start. To be honest, it is really a big like honor for us to be on that presentation. Yeah. So first, I want just to introduce me because many Ukrainians do not know even me. So I'm 17 years old. I'm a student at Gravitas. It is an online school where we are studying and where we met with Mr. Ann and private Ukrainian school. So I'm also volunteer in Institute of Education. I'm Ukrainian. And also about Ukraine. So as you see, it is really pretty large. It is in the center of Europe, and we have access to two different seas. It is Black Sea. It is also pretty large, and that small sea it is called Azovsky Sea. It is so interesting because like even kids can swim there because it isn't deep. It isn't really deep, so it is so interesting there, and isn't really salty. Yeah, you can see also talk about war. that Russia occupied large territory. It is Crimea that was occupied in 2014, and it is like our south part and east part. Yeah, and also Russia invaded for some times, but then we defended it. That part that is here is Kiev. So here is the capital of Ukraine. I'm now in Kiev, and most of students now are also in Kiev. So why our flag is blue and yellow? So you can see like really clear sky without any aircrafts, without any rockets and missiles, and also that pretty field, because like Ukraine agriculture is really important for Ukraine. So we have, I can say, like perfect fields, perfect earth, everything grows here, any culture of plants. So agriculture is also important for us. And I'll start from food also. Yeah. So some information, as I said, Ukraine is the largest country in Europe. Ukraine gained independency, so you can see that we're pretty young country, and we have just amazing food, and I'll show you that, and beautiful nature. So it is called okroshka. It is pretty strange thing because it is just a lot of different ingredients there, like meat and cucumber and other some spent potatoes, and it can be with milk or with kvass. Kvass, it is like non-alcohol, but it is like bread drink. And also we have that vareniki. It is just like, I don't know, it's just like that thing, and it could be with meat or with something, I don't know, sugary or with something sweet. But the most interesting part is here. It is salo. Salo, it is pork fat. Yeah, it is a bit strange, but we eat it like with bread, with garlic, and with salt, and it is like pretty delicious. However, like not everyone like it because it is pretty specific. And also it called holodets. Holodets is like soup, but it is jelly soup. So yeah, it is also pretty interesting because it is the same as like, soup with meat. However, it is jelly. Yep. Nature, as you see, nature is so beautiful because we have Carpathian Mountains, we have cool forest. It is Ascania Nova. It's like pretty big field where a lot of different animals live. And unfortunately, it is now occupied that territory. And also we have, as I said, two seas, Black Sea and Azovsky Sea. However, now we do not have access to Azovsky Sea because Russia occupied territory around the Azovsky Sea. So manufacturing and like our production, we have a lot of minerals and metals. This coal, salt, iron, lithium, titanium, and our anthracite and manganese. So you can see that cave, it is so large. It is like in Energodar, as I know, but that city, Energodar, where like the biggest caves of salt, they are now unfortunately also occupied. However, on the east side, we have a lot of like these minerals and irons. Also, agricultural products are Ukraine's most important exports. Ukraine is normally the world's top producer of sunflower meal, oil, and seed. What is interesting, only when war started, world realized that Ukrainian production of food is really important because many like countries in Africa, they struggled from that they didn't have a food, bread, and like sunflower meal. So yeah, we can say that Ukrainian in part of agriculture and producing of food is really important for African citizen countries and also for Europe. Transportation equipment and other types of heavy machinery. We have a lot of different factories. And also other, it's like IT. Ukrainians are really good in IT. I can say that we're best in Europe in IT. Of course, we couldn't beat India because India is literally insane in sphere of IT, but Ukrainians are also so cool. Brains, because Ukrainians are pretty smart. Electricity. Of course, before war, we have also a lot of like factories and a lot of things that produces electricity, a lot of nuclear stations. So we also produce electricity and sold it for Europe. honey. It is so interesting that honey, because also we have a lot of bees, and as I said, we have a lot of fields and different trees and plants. So we are also producing honey and bread, as I said. Food. A bit of modern, so you can see it is like our monument. It is Kiev. So Kiev is really, it is like balance of nature and city and industry. So it is so pretty interesting there. It is so high, to be honest. Yeah. And now you can see it is like music from Ukraine also. It is called funk. So if K-pop is popular in Korea, from Korea, our music funk is popular also in the whole world. Maybe you could hear it like in different social medias, TikTok or Instagram. So a lot of people all over the world use our music to make some funny videos. You can hear some. Yeah, so you can't hear. Oh, I think that's then just send you the track and you can listen. Maybe I'll do it a bit later. Also Grammarly. I think most of people in the world know Grammarly, and also I use Grammarly, of course, for my essays. But it was made by Ukrainians, so it is interesting that like program that corrects your English made by Ukrainians, and also is a manufacturer of low power space plasma. In Dnipro, it is our city in Ukraine. We produce like engines and low power space plasma, also engines, electric power plants for NASA rockets. And it is also like pretty specific and of course important. So yeah, manufacturing in Ukraine is also on the high level. And also I'll talk a bit how everything started, so everyone could know. So war isn't like wasn't started like last year, because it started in 2014 when Russia first annexed illegal was annexation of Crimea. Then war on Donbass started, and of course it has ended still. So war just like full invasion, yeah, it happened 24th February. However, like war started not last year. It started a bit earlier. So yeah, it was anniversary yesterday, as you know, and what I want to say that war, it is like awful thing. And then I'll show other photos, and our kids will present their stories about war. So war is still happening, and still a lot of kids suffering, and people dying, and still a lot of our territory occupied. Yep, so we just want to say that war is still happening and we still need help. As you see, nature is literally destroying. It is ecocide. Why then in few like later, our kids will introduce some problems with electricity. Which problems do we have? And the problems with electricity is due to the destroying of that electricity station. As you see, it is the largest electricity stations in Ukraine, but they are destroyed. It is video recorded by my by my uncle. So it is near me. It's like 15 kilometers near me. So you can see it is drones and our air defense destroying the drones. Yeah, it is like, of course, scary. Yeah. And also, it is one of the biggest nuclear power station, the Zaporizhzhia power station, unfortunately also occupied. So we are a bit scared because they're doing really bad things there, and they're like they could destroy it by artillery and missiles, and then like nuclear problems could appear. And also Europe is also a bit scared of it. And also how it is affected our life. I will talk about a bit myself, and then our kids will present their life. So because electricity is absent sometimes, it is really cold somewhere. It is only 10 Celsius. Also because of that refrigerators, it is warm in refrigerators, and therefore our food spots fastly. And we need to make some things to have a light So here you can see that my dad took battery from our car, and it is old car where we took battery and we used it to like have small electricity and have light. Also, we need some, as I said in previous, like we had meeting, that we need some vouchers, stable transformers, because when it is air alarm, not every school have shelter. Therefore, some in some schools kids should go like underground and studying there. It is problem with internet connection, and that you can see it is screenshot from phone how many air alarms we have during 12 hours. It is crazy. Of course, now it is not like as much air alarms as it was before. However, it is still pretty a lot. You can see that we're just going up and down like every day in school in shelter. Yeah, and of course, EcoSeed, unfortunately, to like we do not have now a lot of money, so we have to our government have to like turn off filters, and some of them aren't working because of missile attack, and you can see like how it affects our air, a lot of pollution. Yeah, this is snow. Like, you know, in some fairy tales, it is like white and pretty, but in Ukraine now, because of a lot of smoke from east side because of missiles and other banks, and because of factories that are working 2 times more effective, so the snow is literally gray and black. Yeah, and also what is important, we thought about idea. People can do anything under the rubble. The problem is like important in case a person lost conscientious, he or she can't scream for help. So how safeguards can find people under rubble if they can't scream or lost conscientious? So we were thinking about it, what we can do for people that are under the rubble. Yeah, and so I want to produce just most of our kids are from Kievska Young Academy of Science. So it is program. We still, even during war, doing some Olympiads or projects. So we are trying to enhance our like our education in Ukraine. We're trying to work, and also school. It is European Coalition, this private school. Also, a lot of kids now that are in our meeting is from that school. And I just want to say thank you them very much, because they're working and they're trying to enhance our education even during war. So it is really important that even during bad times, even during war, it is important to think about education. Yeah. So thank you for your attention. And I think that next, our kids will present their lives, their own stories. I'll just allow to share my screen. So I'll talk to Ukrainians, okay? Степан, ти можеш презентувати свій екран?
Так,
Давай.
зараз.
So now, yeah, our kid from my school will present his own life during the war and how it changed.
Okay. Hello, my name is Stepan. Now I'll tell you about my story after the war started. So war in Ukraine from my eyes. War in Ukraine, my eyes, first day of war. The 21st of February 2022, 5 o'clock. This time started the war with Ukraine and Russia. At this night, Russia fired 80 missiles. We were scared. So for the first day, we hid in the underground car parking because there was no any bomb shelter nearby. So the next day we went to our acquaintances. It's in the south of Kiev. And in a week we went to the west of Ukraine. Our classes resumed in 2 weeks. And then we stayed in the west of Ukraine for nearly 2.5 months. It was a bit hard to study because we had online school classes during all this time. First 2 weeks of offline studies at school were wonderful, but after that I felt bored because I missed my friends at home. We were living in a flat when we got the west of Ukraine. My parents found a flat that was in the state of renovation. There were only 4 sockets and sometimes it caused some problems. but we have some other problems. At first, we didn't have any hot water, but then a plumber fixed it. There were a lot of air raid sirens in the west of Ukraine. In general, there was more or less safe. In the middle of May, we decided to come back to Kyiv. Our summer was almost like every summer, but we were depressed. Of course, we didn't go abroad. On the 1st of September, we went to school as always, offline. After every air siren, we went to the school bomb shelter. At first 2 weeks, we were sitting there and doing nothing, but in 2 weeks, we started to study in bomb shelter. But the 10th of October, everything is changed. On this day, we were sitting in the bomb shelter for 6 hours. When we got out, we saw that there was no any electricity. It means that you don't have any phone signal, you can't phone your parents, you can't cook at home. More than 100 missiles fired Russia to Ukraine that day. The Ukrainian government introduced rolling blackouts since October. There were often times that we had no light, no electricity, no heating for several days. It was very dark outside. Everyone uses a torch in the street. 21st of December, Russia again fired many missiles and kamikaze drones. Ukrainian people continue to live, but they can't plan anything because you don't know what will be tomorrow. And although we often have rolling blackouts, air raids, sirens, etc., but we continue to study, to work, to live. Thank you for your attention. Have a peaceful day.
Thank you for that, Stefan. And you are 13 years old, right? How old are you?
13.
13. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story. You know, that's courageous, and we were all here to support you and also learn about what's happening in Ukraine, because again, we only see news, right? Adult news. And so to hear like your personal story, and thank you for sharing that. I think it's really powerful, because we get to see in the eyes of a kid, right? Or, children. You should have the right to attend school freely, and go out and hang out with your friends freely. But then, when that is impacted, and what I think it's very powerful when you said, yeah, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, yeah, no, yeah, we really feel for you, and we will
Thank you.
definitely support you. So thank you for sharing your story, Stefan.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Yeah, so do you want to introduce the next? And then we'll, again, we'll have a time where we are going to go into breakout room. We are going to talk to one another. But I think right now we just want to hear some stories from Ukraine in terms of what's happening. And at the same time, this is like cultural exchange. Not too many people know about Korea. So we will have a couple of students from Korea sharing their sort of story in the eyes of children as well. So yeah, Jan, if you have the next presenter, go ahead.
I think I think we are still waiting. She's be preparing. So
Okay.
maybe someone in Korean have some presentation or wanted to say something also.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, and feel free to use the chat box to chat, and just yeah, so feel free to ask questions there too, or comment on these like mini presentations or storytelling. In the meantime, let me ask you a quick question. How many of you, like those of you who are in Ukraine, how many of you know much about Korea? And Jan, if you want to say that in Ukrainian, you could ask that question.
100% not me. I don't really know anything about Korea. But well, I think it would be good to know about everything happening there. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you for saying that, Sasha. How many of you know like K-pop? Just a,
Yeah,
Actually,
a lot
me,
of
I
us.
think,
oh,
of course,
okay,
since
so
September, I started to be a fan of K-pop groups, and last week I started to learn Korean a little bit.
oh wow, that's awesome. I know the music speaks like
Mhm.
music speaks goes. There's no like language barrier. There's no there's no barriers, right? It really speaks to anyone and everywhere, and so that's awesome. And so let's see, is Claire? Do you want to Claire from Korea? Are you able to present now?
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't you share a little bit about Korea? So I think we have some Ukrainian, kids here who would be interested to learn more about Korea. So again, like I think she's gonna share like story from her perspective as a children or child growing up in Korea. So go ahead, Claire, take away.
So, hello, my name is Claire and I am 11 years old in Korean age and I am living in South Korea. My age is 11 and 9 years old because in Korea, we don't use universal age and we use separate Korean age, but starting this summer, the Korean government decided to use universal age, so I'm turning from 11 to 9. So in the morning, I go to school around 8 a.m. I meet lots of friends because in Korean schools, there are around 30 classmates in average. And I am not allowed to go outside even at recess, so you have to stay for lunch and recess. But I still try to have fun with my friends. After school ends, I go to after-school classes with my best friend. I learned to play ukulele and I learned science too. Then I ride my bike to the tutoring center and to learn how to swim and skateboard. Almost every kid in the town goes to the tutoring center to learn things like math and English until like 9 p.m. This is a short clip of me riding skateboard. Yeah. Then I go to my apartment. About half of the people in Korea live in apartments, but I would rather live in a house with a backyard so I can have a dog there. The apartment that I live is 15 stories high. Also, most apartments have several playgrounds within a 2 to 3 minute walk, but they are usually empty in the day because the children at my age all went to tutoring centers. So I sometimes have to play with my younger sister or younger kids. And when I return to my house, I eat dinner with my family. I like kimchi, but seaweed soup, which Koreans eat for birthdays, is my favorite. They eat it on birthdays because it's yummy and it's supposed to be good for mothers who just gave birth to babies. When my mom gave birth to my little sister, I was happy because I could eat seaweed soup every day for 1 month. But a person from US that I know tasted seaweed soup and was shocked because he had never tasted anything so salty and smells like the sea. But it's actually yummy if you taste it, and I recommend trying it when you come to Korea. And after dinner, I like listening to K-pop music. I also listen to it in my car and I like practicing their dances. Here are some of my favorite K-pop singers are BTS and Blackpink. BTS and Blackpink are popular around the world, and BTS even won Billboard chart #1, so I felt very proud of them. And at Friday nights, me and my family watch movies. We usually watch Disney Plus and Netflix movies. And I watched the movies in English, but most of my friends watched them in Korean translation. I especially like Beauty and the Beast and Mulan from Disney. In the morning, I spent plenty of time reading books because they calm me down and make me feel happy. I like to read Warrior's Wishes, a fantasy war story of cats written by Aaron Hunter, and Magic Trios written by Mary Pope Osborne. I help my mom and dad do chores. I fold the laundry, clean my room, and help recycling. My mom even washes the trash like plastic bottles, which are dirty, very clean, and throws them away in separate bins for paper, glass, plastic, cardboard, and cans and bottles. Korea is a country that thinks of pollution importantly, and recycling is a rule. So I think Korea might be the best country if it comes to recycling. And there's a clip of me recycling. Even though there are some hard things like studying math and studying things, I like living in Korea with my family and friends, and I'm thankful for my everyday life. I hope one day you find a chance to visit Korea. Thanks for listening.
Great job, Claire. Thank you for sharing your story and like I think day in the life of Claire. I think that was really interesting to see from your perspective. What is your typical day like? And you know, thank you for sharing that. And as you could tell, like for those of you in Ukraine, you also in Korea, you also study English a lot. So you have the Korean language, but I think a lot of the kids start to learn English when they're young. And that's why I think we're able to have this meeting in English. All right.
So I have
Yeah.
question. I have question about recycling and sorting. So how many years Korea is going for full recycling? Because like in Ukraine, also more and more people trying to sort the rubbish. And was it really hard to so everyone sort the rubbish?
Yeah, can someone from Korea, anyone, want to say something about recycling? Anyone in Korea? Any volunteer to say anything about recycling in Korea? It's quite intense, right? Why do you recycle so much in Korea? Why do we have to recycle so much in Korea? I mean, of course, yeah, we want to be good, right? But what do you, or at least maybe let me ask this question to Ukrainian, you know, students or kids. Why do you think Korea needs to recycle so much? Or you know, really focus on trash? What was it?
Hi, may I have a guess?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Liza, and maybe there are some certain laws and regulations that are carried out by the government that force people, not even force, but make people recycle more, because otherwise, if they don't recycle, they would act against the law and they could get some fines or punishments.
Yeah, so great. Thank you for that, Lisa.
May I answer?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Sophia.
I think that if Korean people don't recycle any materials, then as a consequence, the air pollution may be too much and climate changes maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Climate change impact of that, the government. Well, Lisa, both of you are correct. One other major factor, I think this I showed it in the very beginning. The country size and the density makes it's a small country. So contrary to Ukraine, there aren't a lot of natural resources in Korea because it's a small country. And so it needs to be efficient in usage, and then making sure recycling and reusing, and making sure your trash isn't like thrown away everywhere. So there's really strict regulations when it comes to throwing trash and recycling. Yeah, and then definitely government has a significant impact there.
Also,
So
like
hopefully, yeah.
my friends in Ukraine were pretty interested in cars, in automobiles. So the question is, do you have a lot of like electric cars, such as Tesla, for example, or still you have a lot of cars that use fuel?
Are you asking question about cars?
Yeah. The
Korea?
question, you have like
Yeah.
most cars are electric, or?
Yeah, so anyone in Korea, do you want to answer that? What is the trend in terms of cars? Are there more? Do you see more electric cars, like the electric charging station? Do you see more of that? What do you think? Does anyone in Korea want to respond? And feel free to use chat if you don't want to speak up, but hopefully, if you have the courage to speak out, that would be great. Cars in Korea. And then, I get that not too many people here are, well, I don't think anyone is a driving age or drives, so you may not be as familiar. But yeah, Korea, I think Korea, the Kia and Hyundai cars are the ones, the two cars that's like really exported worldwide. And I don't know if any of those brands are in Ukraine. Do you see Hyundai or Kia cars in Ukraine? Korean cars? Yeah, so okay.
Oh, I can say that I'm living in Ukraine, and you can see that I'm the age of 11, and I'm not driving a car, but my dad has an electric car. But I'm not thinking that there is a lot of electric cars in the Ukraine, but I hope that there will be more electric cars, because there is a lot of pollution in our world, and it can be the climate change.
Yeah, and
I agree. There are a lot of cars that using fuel and petrol. In Ukraine, there are less electric cars, so it causes a lot of air pollution. I hope this problem will be solved.
In Ukraine, there are both electric cars and cars that use petrol. And we really hope that one day there will be like only electric cars that don't cause climate change.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
I was curious about how does it mark? Do you have marks in Korean school and maybe tests like?
Do you say marks?
Marks, yeah.
As in,
like,
yes, marks in meaning of grades. Yeah.
Oh, grades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can someone in Korea, come on, you guys could speak out. Share, like, do we have grades and tests in school? I think Minu and the chat box said yes. Yeah, I think Korea is actually very much, the education system is about like scores and grades. And for college entrance, you have to take this exam, and that's only offered once a year. If you're sick that day, or if you miss that day, you might miss out one entire year. So there's like a high stakes exam that you take to get into college. So everything is sort of like trickle down from there. Lots of examinations and assessments in a traditional school. I mean, I think there are some new like innovative schools out there, but for the most part, like especially public schools, it's really focused on test assessments or marks. Yeah, and then I think Claire shared too, playgrounds are empty because everyone attends these quote unquote academies, which is like a cram school. You go in addition to school. So you go to school, after school, you go to these English or math or another subject, what's called hagwon. Again, it's like academies where you do more learning. So there's, I mean, education is like so, I guess, vital to Korea. And yeah, all these kids probably go to one of these hagwons for multiple subjects.
What about homework? Like, do you get homework in Korean school?
Yes, I see people are nodding. Korean students are nodding. So yeah, lots homework in school and also in those academies. So after school. So I think. All right. Can someone in Korea tell me just in the chat box, put in your just put your age and then approximately what time do you go to sleep during the school day? On a weekday, not weekend, but weekday, what time do you go to sleep after doing your homework and your assignments and all that on average?
So
And you could
I
also
have a
put,
question too. Can I say?
yeah, you could say yes.
Today, my dad said that Korean national dish is dog. Is it true?
Korean, what? I'm sorry, you're echoing a little bit, so I
Like
couldn't
Korean
hear.
national dish.
National
National
dish
food
is, yeah,
is it dog?
duck.
Yep.
Dog.
Oh,
Like,
I think no national dish. Okay, I don't know if someone wants to answer that. That would be great. Oh, hold on, I'm still hearing echoes, so maybe I might have to mute you a little bit because I hearing echoes. Yeah, if someone wants to answer that, like on by unmuting or in chat box, that'd be great too.
You know, it
no,
is like
but
it is like the question because it's like pretty myth and legend in Europe and in US, I think. So we just are curious, is it like true or it is just legend? Because you know it's like stereotype that is pretty popular.
yeah. So no, like duck, I think duck isn't a national dish or like it's not like a major thing. I think that is actually I think China is actually the one that like has I think Beijing duck is like the popular thing, but that's China, which is not Korea. So
Yes,
in
question.
yeah, you can answer the question. Well, hold on one
Oh.
second. So I think in the chat box you see lots of students responding from Korea in terms of how old they are and when they go to bed, and you can see like what is it like in Ukraine? Do you go to sleep late too? Like I think a lot of the kids are putting 11 p.m.
Well,
Like 11:30,
yeah.
like
Well,
midnight.
yeah, it can be sometimes.
Okay,
For
yeah.
me, it's like really often when I go to sleep at 11 because I got a lot of Ukrainian homework. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
so
It also can depend on in which school you're studying because there are some really high schools. I used to study in one of them. It is a high school in Ukraine called Lyceum Intellect, and some subjects are taught in English there. So yeah, there was a lot of homework. So sometimes I could go to sleep at 12 p.m. or even at night further, like at 1 a.m. or something like that. But
wow, so
I enjoyed studying and I really like to know something new. So yeah, it was a pleasure for me.
yeah, this
Right now, I'm in Moldova, not in Ukraine, and I'm learning at two schools at the same time. So I got really a lot of homework.
oh yeah, if you're attending that both schools, yeah. So it looks like a lot of people are waking up early to do homework or sleeping late to do homework. It seems like a lot of you, yeah, you should sleep earlier and then I mean, I hope these schools don't give you so much homework. It's I think a lot of learning should happen in school, not at let's say home in terms of academics, but um okay, so and Jan, did you have the second student here, Sharon?
I think still no, maybe because of bad connection. Also, we have strong wind now in Ukraine. Maybe because of that, or we have still some problems with electricity. But I think maybe we can go in breakout rooms now, or what do you think?
I'll do one more student presentation from
Okay,
Korea because I had one
okay,
boy and then
yeah,
one girl.
then cool. Okay, if you have,
Yeah,
okay, then
because
cool. Yeah, of course.
yeah, because I need to set up breakout room, so I need that time. So yeah, if
I think
Dylan, are
maybe
you here? Dylan, do you want to present your part? Because I also wanted to share like a story from a boy as well. Dylan, I so many, yeah, go ahead and screen share and start your presentation.
Okay, wait a second.
And introduce yourself first. Your your name, age, and yeah, go ahead.
So my name is Dolan Chor. I live in South Korea and I like games. I am now 10 or 9 years old and universal age. And I'm going to tell you, if you are learning at Korean elementary school, what we're going to do it. First, you wake up at 7:50 a.m. and then eat breakfast. Then you go to school at 8:45 a.m. after eating breakfast and changing clothes. And in my school starts at 9 and 10 a.m. On Thursday, you have 6 classes, and the other days you have 5 classes. The fun thing is you only have one teacher except the gym and the science teacher in Korean elementary school. You also have lunch. It is not very delicious sometimes, but you have to eat it. And on Thursday, because you have 6 classes, schools end at 2:20 p.m. And the other day, schools end at 1:30 p.m. After school, we do some other things, like you go to some academies, like in the chat box, or you stay at home doing homework or playing games like Nintendo Switch, and you also eat delicious dinner at home or out at parks. This is the one day of Korea if you're learning at Korean elementary school. And thank you for watching my presentation.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, please go ahead and ask and Jan, if you could help moderate. I'm setting up
What's the
breakout
most
rooms, so if you could, yeah.
what's the most popular what's the most popular food in Korean?
It's kimchi.
Yeah, yes, there is kimchi, but I don't like kimchi.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So you guys want to share what like food? Because I think kimchi is more like a side dish that's pretty much on any type of traditional like Korean food is served with kimchi, which is like a more like a side dish. So can like kids in Korea share like your favorite like actual like Korean dish, not the side dish.
A lot of my friends like to eat like wait.
Hey, do you like tteokbokki? I hear it's some like
Can you guys hear me? Because I just joined in a new device.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So my friends like to eat something called jjajangmyeon. They like to eat it because like it tastes good for us, and it's similar to noodles, but it has a different sauce, I guess.
Oh, and sorry, I have also a question about agriculture because it's interesting. As I said in my presentation, Ukraine is pretty agricultural country. Our earth, we can like raise everything we want here. And what about like weather, climate in South Korea? Is it possible to raise? I know that rice is pretty popular there, but maybe some other fruits or.
Yeah, anyone want to answer that? Yeah.
So, like, what about agriculture? Is it like hard maybe to plant something?
I mean, again, just the country size is quite small, right? So that impacts what you could have in the country. It's also Korea, I think, is very mountainous. So you have lots of mountains. So like the fresh water, is there. But as far as like just having land for agriculture, not much. So like everything's so expensive. Any like fruits, you buy, these things are super expensive in Korea. I'm almost done setting up rooms. Okay. Any other? So what we'll do? Well, thank you for sharing that, Dylan. What we'll do is we'll go into breakout rooms because I think we want time to just talk to each other in a smaller group because this is a large group. So maybe it's more difficult to share stories or talk to one another. So what we'll do is we'll go into breakout rooms. And I think I did put at least one moderator in each room. And these rooms will have about 8 to 10 people. And what you could do is there are going to be some themes. So one, you could talk about education, right? Because you are all students. And then you could also share your sports, your interests, what do you do for fun? You could talk about food, or you could talk about musicians, whatever it is, or entertainment. And then I think it would be great for you guys to maybe share some exchange. So maybe teach each other how to say certain things in Korean or Ukrainian. And then, maybe it's a little bit of free topic, whatever you want to talk, because we want you guys to share and get to know each other. And I think that's really important. Any question about that? Any question?
May I ask the end question? Okay.
Yeah, ask a question. Yeah, go ahead.
So the kids told about school, and I want to ask about holidays. Where you have holidays? What do you do in these holidays?
Yeah, that's a good question. Does anyone in Korea want to answer? What do you do on holidays? I think you just had a major holiday a couple of weeks ago, Lunar New Year, right? What do you do on holidays?
We usually go out or stay in home and do whatever thing that we want in here. So actually, it's a normal day without the school. You can think like that.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, hold on one second. Let's just go. I think Hajin, you were saying first. Go ahead. And Claire says we meet families. Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying that we meet like grandparents and we meet family members.
Yeah, I think major holiday. I think spending time with family. I think is a big thing. And especially families who are not necessarily nearby, like the extended family. So that's like a big.
Do you head out with your friends from school on holidays?
Do you hang out with your friends from school during holidays? What's the question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that question. Mm-hmm.
Anyone want to answer that in Korea?
It's different from families to families, but my family goes to my grandparents' house and play with my cousins or my grandma or grandpa or maybe uncle. So we share holidays a day that we share some stories or play with our cousins.
Yeah, so more. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I think we spend more time with family than friends.
Yeah, so that's the answer. So more especially those major holidays. I think more with family or extended family than friends. Okay, so maybe these are exact same things you guys should talk about in the breakout room. So I think we might actually go over time, and if you guys are okay, I'm fine with it. So I want to give you as much time as possible to share and talk to each other. I really want Ukrainian students to feel like you have our support, and I think it's also interesting that you have opportunity to learn about new culture and new people, even in the middle of a major crisis, right? Because learning should never stop, right? So learning about new culture, I think it's a really great opportunity. And so I want to give you as much time as possible. So I will give you, I'll put you in breakout room and moderator, just make sure, there's good discussion, again, centered around the key topics of education, sports, interest, fun, language exchange, and all the questions that you just asked, like any anything you're curious about, feel free to ask and share in a smaller group setting. So I'm opening up the breakout rooms. So please go ahead and join the breakout rooms. Yeah, everybody here should have anyone not?
What happened?
Are you? Well, breakout room. Those of you who are here, make sure to go breakout room unless, and let me know if you. Let's see.
What is now they're
All right, I just closed the breakout room. I think there are maybe 30 more seconds, so we'll wait till everybody gets back. What did you think of, smaller talks? How did the sessions go? I mean, I was hopping back and forth between different groups. Did you get to learn about each other a little bit more?
Yes,
Yeah, it was
very
really
interesting.
Okay, great, awesome. Yeah, hold on a second. I think the rooms are still closing, so hopefully everybody comes back soon. Let me just see how many. No, I think everyone should be back now. Or almost.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Great. So I hope you were able to learn a little bit more and talk a little bit more in the smaller breakout rooms. Now I really do wish we could give you like so much more time, and I mean maybe I'll give you like at the time. I mean again I know we're already over time, but I don't mind like just keeping this on so you guys could talk. We could do that, but yeah, I just want to make sure we get through all the things that we were planning to do. So Jan, you had a second presenter from Ukraine who wanted to share her story. Please go ahead and start and share your screen.
Yep. So our presenter, she's from England now because she's now in England. So I think her story about how she went to England will be interesting. We should wait a bit.
Yeah, and I realized a lot of the Ukrainian are in like not your home like town, right? You're in other cities or other countries, and I mean I know how difficult or challenging that could be, and not to be with your friends, family, relatives, and friends. So no, we hear you. Let's see. Is she able to present, Jan?
Hi. Yeah, apparently it was about me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's not me, it's someone else. So let's wait.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, wait a second. Can I just quickly ask Jan something in the conference in Ukrainian?
Sure, of course.
Хто зараз говорить?
So yeah, we have two girls in England, so Lisa and one more, but I think Lisa could tell first, and then maybe if it will be better with connection, that girl will present. Так що, Ліза, ти можеш почати, теж розповідай свою історію.
All right. Yeah, I guess I can start because my story is a bit different from the traditional Ukrainian story, since I'm not in Ukraine, and I was not in Ukraine when the war started, and I haven't been home since then. So I study in England. I'm based in London, and I finished school here. I moved to London 2 years ago to do A-levels, which is like a program, a high school, and after that I'll go to university. And I came to England. My last time visiting Ukraine was on the 20th of February. So I came to England 4 days before the war started, which is on the one hand quite lucky of me, but on the other hand, I experienced I was hugely homesick and especially worried since all of my family stayed in Ukraine at that time, and it was hard for me to stay in touch with them because the connection would break out quite often, and I would be with them constantly 24/7, making sure that they're safe, that I know where they are. So for me, in this regard, it was difficult, not because I was in Ukraine, not because I was experiencing the difficulties that many children now face, such as missiles and anxiety and fear, but because I didn't know where my family was. And my immediate family, my parents, they had to move to Europe. So one of the difficulties for Ukrainians now is that they have to start life from the scratch in a different country without being able to work, to earn money, to supply their family. And my grandparents stayed in Ukraine, so they're there on their own, which is also quite complicated because they don't have us, their grandchildren, their children that can help them. And especially from what I've heard in Korea, family is very highly valued. And it stands on the first position. Even when you have holidays, you go and meet and see your grandparents. So for us, it's difficult because we don't see our grandparents, we don't see our parents for a while, especially those who live abroad. And I guess if you have any questions, I would love to answer. But I think that's it from my short story of the Ukrainian war experience.
And thank you for thank you for sharing your story. Does anyone have any questions? Or you could also use the chat box or comments too. And I know like how difficult it is to be away from family. And when is your family able to see you like or visit you or?
Well, hopefully I'm able to go and see them. Yeah,
Okay.
I see them every half term during the holidays. But it's more difficult with grandparents who I haven't seen in a while. And I guess it's very difficult time for the elderly generation as well, because they're left on their own and they have to look after themselves. And my grandparents would always get the support from parents. So yeah, it's quite complicated in this regard now, but I do see my family.
That's good. We do hope like you're able to see your extended family very soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for sharing, Lisa. Did anyone? Jan, did you have another person who wanted to share story?
Yeah. Yep. She said that she will be now. So yeah, you can present. We'll like repeat.
Sorry.
I think.
I have to go. Sorry, nice to meet you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, well, nice to
thanks,
meet you.
thanks.
I know like we are over time, so yeah, if you need to go, please feel free to go. But before that, you know what? Before we do presentation, let's maybe just take let's see. Hold on one second. Yeah, so is another person presenting or no?
I can
I think now. Yep.
Yeah, if you want just for story tell, just one more. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if someone also can want to present, yeah, you can present. Thanks.
Yeah, I actually got a presentation for you. Seconds. Yeah. So, my name is Veronica. I'm 12 years old, and I'm from Ukraine, from Kiev is the capital of Ukraine. Yeah. So my life, I went to school. Number is 112. This is the first day of school in 2022. We was not expected anything like a warm. So this is my gymnastic teams. I'm already 9 years doing rhythmic gymnastics, and this is me with my team. We participated in championships in Ukraine and abroad. So Kiev is actually really beauty place. As you can see in the picture, it's like lots of trees, like green areas, places. And my family, I actually really like my family. This is my mom, my dad, sister, she's called Sophia, and my grandparents. My grandparents now, they're staying in Ukraine, and my dad as well. And now I'm in United Kingdom with my sister and my mom. So the war in 24th of February 2022, I woke up because my mom came into my room and said like the war has begun. It was a day of my maths test, and I mean I successfully skipped that, but I don't have much time to like think about that. We stayed at home and hiding in the parking and undergrounds, and like it was lots of like alarm in the night, so I was really tired. I could not sleep at night. Yeah, it was really hard. This is the photo made from the window of my flat. Where the building was destroyed. It was the gym when my mom comes. Yeah, this is my dog. Was killed because of the attacks. He was really scared, so he's died. His name was Richard. He was only 2 years old. And in Great Britain in May 2022, I moved with my sister and mom to the Great Britain. I went to my first primary school. It's called Fleetville, and I've got lots of friends there. Now I'm in secondary school. It's called Women's School, and yeah. So this is my like Ukrainian class. Most of them moved to another countries, but this is the people you can see. It's in the Valentine's Day, and this is the from like in school parking. They was hiding from the attacks. So thank you for your attention. Have a good day.
Thank you for sharing your story, Veronica. And that's like a really, powerful story. And to hear from like, your perspective, your experience. And so you're currently separated from your grandfather and your father, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope I hope they are safe and you're able to, you reunite soon. And it seems like a lot of how many of you, like for those of you in Ukraine, how many of you are currently in a place where it's not your like hometown? You could just like raise your hand. How many of you are in like another country or another city? The impact of those. So yeah, I mean I see lots of hands up. So yeah, that must be really really hard. Yeah, I feel so bad. Yeah, so no, but again, we're here to learn about these stories. I think the primary goal for our meeting, like I said, is to hear your story and really learn, because I think to hear children's story is much more impactful and powerful than hearing from adults and or news, like all these major things that's happening, but then they're not in the point of view of children's eyes. And I think that is very important story to tell. And so I hope that in terms of like the next steps, I hope that we were able to have more of these opportunities to share story and then exchange culture, also to learn. I think, your age, I think is very important for you to continue to learn. And, when you go across different cultures and different countries, I think this is how we sort of come up with peaceful world. Like we want world peace, right? We want peace in Ukraine. We want in Korea, I think I mentioned like Korea's divided country, one of the few divided countries in the world. And we want peace. Like that's what we want. And so to do that, though, I think it's very important for us to get to know each other, understand each other, share our cultures, so that we empathize and we're able to connect and relate to differences, right? And or break down differences or barriers. That's what we want to do. And so I'm really excited that you spent the last, was it more than 90 minutes here, yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to see a lot of the actual faces of children in Ukraine, and also the kids in Korea who are in support. I mean, it's not much, but I think we were able to fundraise a little bit. So and then yeah, I think like in total, I think we are going to donate like about $300 to charity that helps with like children in Ukraine. So the Korean students, we were able to raise that. So great job. And thanks for joining from Korea. Yeah, do you have any like words to say? Again, I could leave this room open, or I could create more breakout rooms so you guys can continue to talk if you want to. But for the sake of time, I know some of you might have to go to different places, or you might have commitments. I want to make sure we at least have the final word. So Jan, do you want to say any words?
I think, yeah, it was of course so interesting. It was our first like meeting. It is so large. We have a lot of participants. It is really great job. Even adults, they do not support our countries and peace in the world as we do, because we make some moves. It is so important, in connection between Korea and Ukraine, between connection in all the world. And I'm so happy like that you're here, and we now know a lot of interesting about Korea, especially about recycling. We'll also try to enhance our recycling system. Also, we think and we hope that you also were interested in Ukraine, that we provide you with information that was pretty interesting and important. And I think that I can share some screen where we have I'll show you 1 second, where we have some words, and I think we want to make some screenshot for our, so it is like Slava Ukraini and Slava Korea. It is like glory to Ukraine and glory to Korea. It is in Ukrainian. Here you can see some transcriptions in English. So if you wish, you can try to spell it.
How do you say this in Ukrainian?
So it is Slava Ukraini and Slava Korea.
Okay.
Yeah, and Slava Korea. Yeah.
Hey, all right. So if I think we should do it. If you want to unmute and say these words, I think that would be great. You guys wanna? All right. So Jan, you have to lead. So you do the lead. Yeah.
I'm sorry I need to leave now, but it was really nice to meet you. It was a really interesting experience. I would like to try this again. So bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining. I know it's like 1:40 p.m. in Ukraine. And I know you might have commitments and you need to get somewhere. So and if you need to go, yeah, you could go, because it's way past our scheduled time. So but anyway, yeah, you want to lead this chat? Hold on a second. Yeah, but
Yeah, 1 second. I just tried to. So I can repeat. It is Слава Україні, Слава Кореї.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can try it.
You want to do that again? All right. Feel free to unmute everybody and and Jan, if you want to record this part on your phone, maybe even.
So we have.
on the
Oh, okay. Yeah,
spaces.
yeah. I think I can do recording on my phone. 1 second, then I'll might. So okay, let's try together.
All right. So you have to do the lead. Yeah.
Слава Україні, слава Кореї.
Слава Україні.
Слава Україні. Слава Україні.
Слава
Україні.
Слава
Україні. Слава Україні. Слава Україні.
Thanks. I think it is enough. Oh my glory.
No, really.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, and then Slava Korei. How is that? How you pronounce Korea?
Yeah. So Korea in Ukrainian is Korea, and we have like some changes. So just Korea, it is Korea, but if we say glory to Korea, it is Slava Koreyi. It changes a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of changing like that in Ukrainian. We have about 7 changing in the words, and it is pretty complicated for other languages.
Yeah, I mean these both languages are I think not too easy to learn, and yeah, I think we could continue to share, and I think language exchange or cultural exchange. I think yeah, this is like awesome. So. Yeah, as we sort of end, like, does anyone like you guys? What did you guys think about these type of opportunities to connect? What did you think about like today? And again, feel free to unmute and talk, or feel free to use chat box. What did you think?
I think it's really cool that we have opportunity to talk with you because we are really far, like Korea and Ukraine or in other countries. So it's really good that we have opportunity to talk with Zoom or with other things, and it's good that we share our culture, and I like it. I hope we will meet one more time.
Yes, and it is really interesting, and it is for me, for example, it's opportunity to learn English a little bit more, and I'm really happy that we're talking now, and I really hope that we'll meet maybe.
Yes, it was really interesting to like talk about different countries, different cultures, and I really liked this meeting, and yes, it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, great. Yeah, before we go there, just one last thing. So I know a lot of you have to go. So do you know in Korea, maybe someone could demonstrate, how do you do heart in Korea? Because we want to take a good photo with everybody, right? Let's take a photo with everybody. Oh, yeah, because you know already. Yes, that part, right? So maybe you know all the BTS or the K-pop. All right, so let's do like a heart, or you could do this one, whatever it is. And I'll share this with everybody. So I'll take like screenshots of us doing heart thing, heart shape. So because we care about the world, or you could do peace sign, or we love one another, right? We should be loving one another. So let me take some screenshots. All right, ready? 1, 2. Just have to keep it up because I have to go through multiple pages. So all right. 1 second, and to flip a page. All right, awesome. And yeah, thank you everybody for participating. I really enjoyed having all of you. And I guess hopefully as an educator and adult, I could say, yeah, we are proud of everybody here. Your willingness and your courageousness to be here and then spend your time, your weekend time, to share your stories and to connect with one another. I think I would love to continue to do this. So I think Jan, you probably have all the contacts in Ukraine, and I do for Korea. So maybe we'll set up another time where we could do it more casually. Maybe we could have different topics. Maybe we could do again language exchange. I really do hope in the very near future, those of you in Ukraine, you could visit Korea, and then I hope it's really soon that we could visit Ukraine as well. I think that's what I would love to see. And we will continue to support you and pray for your peace and safety and well-being. And that I think as children and as students, all of you should be learning and thriving, and that is your right. And I'm really sorry to see what's happening in Ukraine that's preventing you from having that right. So we are in full support. So glory to Ukraine, and also I really do thank all the kids from Korea from supporting and joining us today. Anyone else want to say anything else before we go? Or I mean, again, maybe I'll end the recording here. So if you want to stick around and just say or ask a few more questions, feel free to. Maybe I'll keep it up until the top of the hour, so which would be 2 p.m. in Ukraine, and then I think it'll be 9 p.m. in Korea. So I'm in like East Coast. So it's almost like 7 a.m. for me now. So we're all over the world. I think you do have some. We did have some kids in like Poland, Germany, UK as well. So yeah, we're like literally all over the world. So thank God for in this case technology, we're able to connect. Yeah, so you're free to go. But if you want to ask questions or talk about, I don't know, like your favorite group song, whatever you can, or ask questions. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start recording here. So
I see David wants to ask something or say, so you can do it.
Yeah. What other? So did someone say something? Oh, sorry. Did someone want to say something? So okay, David, go ahead.
Okay, so like, can we have like a breakout meeting like this, like another time, like in at least a month?
I'll try to set it up. Is that what everybody wants? Was that good to connect with? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah, and let me also say this. I think this is why you're learning English, right? In some ways, it's somewhat universal language. I think it's allowing us to communicate, right? So if you ever thought, okay, why am I learning English? Why am I studying so much? Well, here's a reason why, right? Because we are able to connect. I mean, eventually, I hope that students in Ukraine learn a little bit Korean, and then Korean students learn Ukraine. But these languages take time, and it's not easy. But English is something that I think we all are learning in one way or the other. So if you need a purpose, well, here's your purpose. All right, so yeah, I will try to set up another breakout time for us to meet. So again, feel free to go if you need to go. So I think again, feel free to use chat or unmute and say anything before you leave. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's time to you guys could go. Like I know time's up. So all right, I'm gonna start recording now.